What if I told you your engine already has more power built into it, but it's being held back on purpose? Same engine, same hardware, no tune, no parts. Yet one small timing-related behavior quietly determines whether your engine feels strong or lazy. And here's the scary part. Most drivers unknowingly train their engines to retard timing every day, costing power, fuel economy, and long-term durability. No warning lights, no error codes. Just slower acceleration, worse MPG, and rising heat. By the end of this video, you'll understand how ignition timing really works in the real world, the timing trick mechanics use to wake engines up, and why doing this wrong can cost you thousands. Stay until the end, because the biggest power loss doesn't come from bad parts. It comes from how the engine learns to protect itself from you. Why modern engines are never at max power. Let's clear up a myth. Your engine does not run at optimal timing by default. Modern ECUs constantly adjust ignition timing based on fuel quality, engine temperature, knock sensor feedback, load history, and driving habits. Their priority is not power. It's emissions, fuel economy, and engine survival under bad conditions. So when the ECU detects anything risky, even briefly, it pulls timing. And here's the problem. Once timing is pulled repeatedly, the ECU learns to stay conservative. That means slower throttle response, softer acceleration, reduced torque, even when conditions improve. This is silent power loss. Section 1. What ignition timing really does. Ignition timing controls when the spark fires relative to piston position. Too early aero knock, heat, damage. Too late to weak combustion, lost power, higher exhaust temps. The sweet spot is narrow. That's where maximum cylinder pressure happens just after top dead center. When timing is optimal, the piston is pushed harder, combustion is more complete, efficiency goes up, power increases. When timing is retarded, combustion finishes too late, pressure drops, power is lost as heat. The engine feels smooth but weak. Here's what longtime mechanics see constantly. Drivers unknowingly force the ECU to pull timing by using low-quality fuel, lugging the engine at low RPM, flooring the throttle on cold engines, repeated short trips with heat soak, aggressive driving in high gears. Each event triggers the knock sensors, and the ECU responds exactly as designed. It reduces timing to protect the engine. But here's the catch. The ECU remembers. Over time, it builds a timing safety buffer. That buffer stays even when fuel improves and conditions normalize. Section 2. Why this costs more than just power. Retarded timing doesn't just feel slow. It causes higher exhaust gas temperatures, more stress on catalytic converters, increased oil contamination, reduced fuel efficiency, and slower engine response. You're not just losing horsepower. You're aging the engine faster. That's why two identical cars can feel completely different, even with no faults. This isn't a tune. This isn't advancing timing manually. This isn't bypassing sensors. The real timing trick is about how you allow the ECU to relearn safe timing advance. And most drivers never do it. Section 3. The truth about timing tricks. No myths. Let's get something straight before anyone hurts an engine. There is no button that adds timing. There is no secret wire to unplug. And manually advancing timing on a modern engine is a fast way to cause knock damage. The real trick is much less dramatic and far safer. You allow the ECU to prove to itself that conditions are safe again. Modern ECUs are conservative by design. They only add timing back when knock sensors stay quiet, temperatures remain stable, fuel quality is consistent, load is predictable. If those conditions are never met together, timing never comes back. Why power doesn't return after fixing the problem. This is where most drivers get confused. They clean the MAF. They switch to better fuel. They replace spark plugs. They even fix vacuum leaks. Yet the car still feels flat. Why? Because the ECU doesn't instantly trust changes. It works on trend data, not one good drive. Mechanics know this. That's why after repairs, they deliberately guide the relearn process. Not by racing, not by flooring it, but by controlled load. Section 4. The safe method mechanics use. Here's the principle, not a dangerous checklist. To restore timing advance safely, the ECU must experience moderate engine load, stable RPM, warm oil and coolant, high-quality fuel, zero knock events. That combination tells the ECU this engine can handle more timing. This is why random city driving rarely restores power. Conditions are too chaotic. And this is why aggressive driving backfires. Knock once, timing is pulled again. Long-time mechanics prefer steady highway conditions for relearning. Why? Because RPM is consistent, airflow is predictable, combustion is stable, heat is controlled. But here's the mistake people make. They floor it in top gear at low RPM. That causes high cylinder pressure, increased knock risk, immediate timing retard. Instead of gaining power, the ECU gets scared. And scared ECUs don't advance timing. Section 5. The fuel quality factor nobody talks about. This matters more than people think. If the ECU learned conservative timing on low-octane fuel, inconsistent fuel blends, ethanol-heavy mixes under heat, it won't suddenly add timing back just because you filled up once with premium. Consistency matters. Many mechanics recommend running one tank of higher quality fuel, allowing full warm-up cycles, and avoiding heavy load early in the drive. Not for power, for confidence. When timing advance is restored, drivers usually notice stronger mid-range pull, smoother acceleration, less downshifting, quieter combustion, and sometimes improved MPG. Not a sudden surge, a cleaner, more willing engine. That's how you know it's real, not placebo. The one thing that can destroy this process. Here's the mistake that ruins everything. Forcing power before the ECU is ready. One knock event can undo dozens of good learning cycles. That's why racing immediately after maintenance, towing on a fresh tank of fuel, or lugging the engine under load often makes cars feel worse. Section 6. The slow power loss. Nobody notices. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Most engines don't lose power suddenly. They lose it politely. A little less pull merging onto the highway. A downshift that didn't used to happen. Throttle response that feels delayed, not broken. Drivers adapt. They press the pedal a little harder. They assume the car is just getting older. What's actually happening in many cases, timing advance has been slowly pulled and never fully returned. No codes, no dash lights, nothing for the owner to react to. Why warning lights are useless here. This is critical to understand. The check engine light is designed to catch emissions failures, sensor faults, misfires above a threshold, catalyst efficiency loss. It is not designed to warn you about conservative timing strategies, learned knock avoidance, efficiency sacrificed for safety. From the ECU's perspective, everything is working exactly as intended. You just happen to be running a safer, weaker engine. This is where engineering meets policy. Modern engines are calibrated to pass emissions tests, survive poor fuel, tolerate abuse, and avoid warranty claims. That means manufacturers accept reduced real-world power, conservative timing, and long-term efficiency loss as an acceptable trade-off. Why? Because a slightly slower car doesn't trigger lawsuits. A damaged engine does. So the system is biased toward protection, not performance restoration. Why identical cars feel completely different. Mechanics see this all the time. Two identical vehicles, same engine, same mileage, same maintenance history. Yet one feels strong, the other feels tired. Often the difference isn't wear, it's learned behavior. One car saw consistent fuel quality, was warmed up gently, avoided lugging, relearned timing properly after service. The other lived on short trips, saw low-octane fuel under load, was pushed cold, and never rebuilt ECU confidence. Same metal, different memory. Retarded timing creates heat, not coolant temperature, combustion heat. That heat raises exhaust gas temperature, stresses valves and manifolds, accelerates oil oxidation, and increases carbon formation. Over years, this contributes to stuck rings, oil consumption, catalytic converter damage, and reduced engine efficiency. So the cost of lost timing isn't just power, it's longevity. Section 7. Why scan tools rarely help drivers. A basic scan tool shows live timing values, knock counts, short-term adjustments. But without context, those numbers mean nothing to most owners. Mechanics look at trends, behavior over time, how timing responds to load and heat. Drivers look at, is there a code or not? That's why this issue flies under the radar. Section 8. The myth of just reset the ECU. Many people hear this and say, I'll just reset the ECU and get power back. Sometimes that helps. Often it doesn't. Why? Because resetting memory without fixing behavior just leads the ECU to relearn the same conservative patterns. If the driving conditions don't change, the timing won't either. That's why blind resets often disappoint. The real gains don't come from tricks. They come from restoring trust between the ECU and the engine, allowing stable conditions and letting timing advance safely. Section 9. The habits that protect timing advance long-term. Once timing comes back, the real question is, how do you keep it? Long-time mechanics notice the same pattern in engines that stay strong. Consistent fuel quality, gentle load until fully warm, avoiding lugging in high gears, and predictable driving conditions. These habits don't make more power. They prevent the ECU from taking power away. That distinction matters. Section 10. The biggest timing killer most drivers ignore. This is the silent habit that ruins timing faster than bad fuel. High throttle at low RPM. Examples: flooring it in top gear at 1,500 RPM, climbing hills without downshifting, towing or accelerating hard below the torque band. That creates high cylinder pressure, increased knock probability, instant timing retard. Even if you don't hear knock, the sensor does. And once timing is pulled repeatedly in these conditions, the ECU learns to stay cautious everywhere. Some people say, just drive it hard to clear it out. That advice damages engines. Hard driving only restores timing if oil is fully warm, fuel quality is consistent, RPM is appropriate, load is controlled, random aggression causes knock. Knock kills timing. Timing loss kills power. That's why experienced mechanics talk about controlled load, not abuse. Section 11. The fuel myth that confuses everyone. Here's the truth about premium fuel. Higher octane does not add power by itself, does not override ECU logic, does not fix bad habits. What it does, gives the ECU a larger safety margin to advance timing if conditions allow. If you drive poorly, premium won't save you. If you drive correctly, premium may help timing return faster. It's a tool, not a solution. Section 12. Why this is not a hack. This isn't a shortcut. It's not a trick in the influencer sense. It's understanding how the ECU protects the engine and not fighting that system. Mechanics don't chase peak timing. They chase stable timing because stable timing produces consistent power, reduces heat stress, protects oil, and preserves engine life. The cost of ignoring this. Drivers who ignore timing behavior often pay later with sluggish engines, poor fuel economy, catalytic converter failure, oil consumption, and mystery performance loss. And when they finally modify or tune, they're shocked how much power was missing. The engine didn't suddenly gain power. It stopped holding back. Your engine isn't weak. It's cautious. It learned to protect itself from inconsistent fuel, aggressive cold driving, poor load management. The timing trick isn't forcing power. It's proving safety. Once the ECU trusts conditions again, timing returns, power returns, efficiency improves, heat drops, quietly. Now I want to hear from you. Does your car feel slower than it used to, with no warning lights? Do you lug the engine in high gears? Do you warm it up gently or demand power immediately? Comment your engine type, your driving style, and whether this changed how you think about lost power. Because the most expensive horsepower loss is the one you never realized you gave away.